we've heard rumors, we've speculated a lot, but now we have confirmation that the federal government is spying on us using our own devices. The Verizon scandal has been uncovered this week, showing that the NSA has unprecedented access to our metadata.
All of our calls, the duration, where we are when we're placing them, and who we're talking to, right?
Yeah, and you can, kind of fill in the dots, like, oh, who is this number he's calling? Why is he calling? Is it an escort company? Is it a bookie? And then you can, it's so easy. It's not necessarily the call itself.
It's so easy to call an escort company. Anybody could do it.
Yeah. But tell me more about the NSA's blanket surveillance spying.
The worst part of this is that it's confirmed that it's been going on for 7 years. Verizon has been turning over all of our calls and all of the data on those calls for 7 years.
It's legal.
It's completely legal.
It is completely legal. And what bothers me about this is that we were saying, oh, these are only people who have something to hide, and these are bad people. No, it's blanket mass surveillance of all the customers. It doesn't matter. So all of that data is being turned over. And furthermore, you shouldn't just be, oh, well, you have nothing to hide. You shouldn't be scared. We should all be scared about our privacy being invaded.
And furthermore, this is the NSA, who's not allowed to gather information on domestic issues. So it's going from Verizon.
It's only supposed to be international.
Yeah, so it's going from Verizon to the FBI, and then the FBI sorts through it and then gives it to the NSA.
Yes, and as you said, we've known about this for years. In May 2011, Senator Rob Wyden, who's one of the few people who are standing against this, vocalized this by saying, I want to deliver a warning this afternoon. When the American people find out how their government has secretly interpreted the Patriot Act, they will be stunned and they will be angry. And he was 100% right. This is a really warped interpretation of the Patriot Act, especially with the NSA, whose jurisdiction is not domestic people.
Now, Kim, is this the scariest thing that our government is doing right now?
Why, of course not, Tim. We also are subject to PRISM. Now, while Verizon's phone data was all metadata, PRISM is very explicit, and it's completely unprecedented access to servers of major companies, and it's been going on for years. If you have used websites from Microsoft, Yahoo, Google, Facebook, PalTalk, AOL, and Skype, and YouTube, and Apple, and you've interacted with those companies in the past, let's say 6 years, your information is free and open to the government to look at and read. And we've talked about this on the Young Turks, not we, Cenk, that you could even see emails as they're being written, maybe a draft, and then completely erased. You could watch someone's thoughts form in real time under PRISM.
That's
and
crazy.
It has been going on for, I think, since 2007. I believe Microsoft was the first one to sign on to it, which has not helped Microsoft's media storm lately.
This information, and you might think, okay, well, they're watching our correspondences. How much of this is really like the information that they're processing and passing off to the president?
I don't care.
1 in 7. It's like a huge
I do care.
data for them. Yes.
I'm sorry, I thought you were making a different point. Yes, 1 in 7 intelligence reports that the president sees is from
us, domestic, Americans,
from PRISM.
The internet.
It's from our data online. And
not like phone calls in Pakistan or that kind of stuff, but us in the United States, my Google searches as I'm typing them, and then thinking of how disgusting I am and deleting them in shame.
I'm going to erase that. No one will know. No one will know. They know. So you may think, oh, well, this is, President Obama said recently, this is only for a small amount of people, and these people are international. But here's something frightening. The NSA analyst who is conducting this investigation only needs to be 51% confident that the subject is foreign. Only 51. So it's just like, you could apply that so many ways and to so many people, and it not really being just, but this interpretation taking it that way. It's wrong. It's dead wrong. You're rubbing your head. Well, you should be.
I could just imagine looking over what kind of last name is that? That looks kind of foreign. Yeah,
well,
I'll flag this.
See, this is also
the slightest hunch that somebody might be doing, that the subject might be foreign.
Yeah.
1%.
just slightly over.
A little bit more than half.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'll do a full-scale investigation.
Completely legal.
So that is horrible, and I think what we can take from this is that we do need to have a large-scale discussion about our digital rights, and we need to make ourselves clear that we do not like them being impeded upon. I mean, several politicians were saying, oh, I don't care. You know, Lindsey Graham was like, oh, they're investigating me, but I've got nothing to hide. Fuck you, Lindsey Graham. You do not represent us in that way. I know people do not want their privacy invaded so blatantly, and I think we need to make that a priority.
I think I'm a little bit more pessimistic about this. I don't think there is really anything that we can do at this point. Once the government gets like a taste of this, it's not like they're gonna like shut it all down or something. It's like the best bet that we have is groups like Anonymous and whatever, fighting back in our own way. But other than that, like the government's never gonna stop looking on us.
But that doesn't mean that you have to stop fighting. You should fight, you should be outraged, and you shouldn't just be complacent because you feel like you're powerless. We are, yes, more or less basically powerless, but you have to try. You can't just be complacent, because when you're complacent, these egregious things will just become more and more pervasive to us, and you need to know that it has to stop. It has to stop. We do not condone this, and we know that because it was a secret order before. Now that it's public, we should be outraged. I think it's our duty to be outraged if you are outraged by this.
I hope this
be.
is in the news for the next year. I hope it just doesn't disappear like in a week, like most other news stories do.
Do you hope this is the new CISPA? Because I sure as hell do.
Yeah. I hope that people take up arms against this, and that this is a big deal for a long time to come until something is different.
Well, I don't like this attitude of, well, I'm not doing anything wrong, because then it just be a little bit.
Oh, I'm doing stuff wrong.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, still, people who aren't you, who are thinking, well, I'm not doing anything wrong, and everyone who's doing something wrong, they should be the ones who are worried. No, we should all be worried. It's just a little bit more and a little bit more, pushing it further onto us. That, and then eventually we'll be at this point. It's like the frog who is sitting in a boiling pot of water. He doesn't notice it's getting hotter until he's fucking dead. Don't be a dead frog. Then you'll know. We can't let this happen. We can't let these small breaches add up.
Well, that was like the whole attitude in the 2000s. Like, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong, so I totally support the Patriot Act. But I totally feel like that attitude is shifting a lot, like now, and as we move forward. That's why we're talking about this stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the next step? What could we as angry, stunned American citizens do?
Well, of course, there are going to be online petitions, but we need to make it clear
that the NSA will be reading.
Yeah, cool.
Because they have access to that.
But we need to make it clear that we do not stand for this. We do not like this. We do not feel that this is a constitutional measure, and it needs to be stopped. And they may or may not listen to us, leaning towards may not. But I think if people are so outraged enough that this is the tipping point for them, that we can see something happen. Make your representatives know.
I love that it's more likely that rather than writing a letter addressed to the president, me just typing something into Google is more likely to show up on the president's desk.
NSA sucks. And then just erase it.
That's how you communicate. That's how you write to your senators, is just Google stuff with their name in it.
Sure. Don't even finish writing the email. They'll know.